Switch off all the lights in the house, head down to the basement, open the storage room door, and keep quiet, don't mention a word to your wife. My elder brother rarely ever raised his tone. So when his voice boomed those instructions at 3 in the morning, I bolted upright in bed. "Daniel, you're frightening me," I murmured. "Just follow my directions," he barked. Immediately, the line went dead. "My name is Marcus Hale. I'm 41 and reside on the outskirts of Denver, Colorado. For the last 15 years, I've operated a modest construction materials business. My days are generally calm, routine, the sort of existence you create when you crave security. My brother Daniel, however, inhabits an entirely separate reality. He served as a detective with the Denver Police Department for more than 10 years, specializing in complex fraud cases and money-related offenses. A call from Daniel at 3 a.m. signaled genuine trouble. Next to me, my wife Laura shifted faintly in her slumber. "Everything all right?" she mumbled. "Fine," I answered softly. "Just looking into something." I eased out of bed and crept along the darkened corridor. The house seemed unnaturally still. At the basement entrance, my fingers paused on the handle. Before ending the call, Daniel had added one final warning. "Marcus, no matter what you spot down there, don't pull that door fully open." I turned the key carefully. Through the slim opening, something froze my pulse. Peering through that thin slit in the storage room door, I noticed motion. Initially, I assumed it was merely a shadow flickering from the street lamp beyond the tiny basement pane. But the shape shifted once more, slow, purposeful. A person was present in my storage area. My heartbeat thundered so fiercely I was convinced the intruder could detect it. That space was meant to hold nothing beyond aged cartons, equipment, and the steel locker containing my company documents. The door had been secured. I retreated gradually and brought the phone back to my ear, redialing Daniel with trembling hands. He answered at once. "Describe precisely what you're seeing," he instructed in a hushed tone. "There's a person in my basement," I breathed. "I'm aware," he responded. The steady composure in his tone only deepened the dread. "You already knew." I inhaled sharply. "Correct," Daniel confirmed. "Now pay close attention, Marcus. The individual downstairs is no ordinary thief." My gut clenched. "Then who is he?" Daniel waited a beat before replying. "Someone who's been observing your property for several weeks." Ice spread through me. The terror crept along my backbone. Then the figure inside edged nearer to the door. Abruptly, the knob started rotating. The handle on the storage door moved with agonizing slowness. For an instant, I remained paralyzed. My mind repeated one fact relentlessly: that door swings toward me. If he tugged firmly, he would spot me standing directly in front. "Marcus," Daniel snapped over the line, "move back from the door. Right away." I withdrew silently, each footfall sounding like an explosion in the quiet basement. The door groaned open another fraction. Through the narrow space, I glimpsed a portion of the man's features under the faint glow from the basement window. Perhaps mid-30s. Black coat. Tranquil demeanor. Not the anxious expression of a trespasser surprised in the act. He appeared at ease. Then he spoke. "Marcus Hale," the man said gently. My insides plummeted. He knew exactly who I was. I stayed silent. Daniel's voice returned through the speaker, measured and firm. "Do not respond to him." "Who are you?" "Daniel," I hissed. "Who is this person?" My brother didn't reply instantly. Instead, he uttered words that transformed my fear into pure chill. "Because if this is the individual I suspect, he didn't come here to take anything from you." My mouth turned parched. "Then what's his purpose in my basement?" Daniel released a slow breath. "Marcus, examine your company files first thing tomorrow," he added. In a low voice, "I believe someone intends to make you take the blame." "Make me take the blame?" I whispered, hardly drawing air. But Daniel offered no further details. Marcus, listen closely, he urged. Exit the basement. Return upstairs. Secure every entrance. Police units are en route already. Thoughts raced wildly. Daniel, that man is physically inside my home. I understand, he said. And if my hunch is correct, he has company. That statement unleashed a surge of icy dread across my ribs. I retreated up the steps gradually, eyes fixed on the basement threshold. The stranger hadn't pursued me. He hadn't yelled. He hadn't attempted to flee. He simply remained patient. Reaching the upper landing, I bolted the basement entrance and crossed the shadowed living area toward the front window. My fingers quivered. Flashing red and blue appeared far down the road. Patrol vehicles. 3 in total. Moments later, officers encircled the property. I unlocked the front door as Daniel's plain sedan rolled into the drive. He emerged swiftly, expression grave beneath the pulsing lights. What in God's name is going on? I demanded. Daniel didn't respond at first. Instead, he met my gaze directly and delivered words that sank my stomach. Marcus, individuals have been cleaning dirty money through your construction firm for months. My thoughts stalled. That's not possible, I protested. Yet Daniel shook his head deliberately. The person in your basement, he continued, is part of the group that arranged it. For a second, I simply stared at my brother. Daniel, that's ridiculous, I managed. My business barely generates 6 figures annually. No one could funnel funds through it without my knowledge. That's precisely the reason they selected you, he answered quietly. Behind him, a pair of officers advanced toward the basement access. My chest constricted. Hold on, I said. If they've hidden evidence down there, they've already placed it, Daniel cut in. The officers opened the basement door and descended. Shortly afterward, a voice carried up. Detective. You should come look at this. Daniel signaled for me to remain, but I trailed him regardless. Entering the basement storage space, my stomach lurched. The steel locker holding my prior tax documents stood ajar. Inside rested 3 black gym bags I'd never encountered. One officer opened the initial bag. Neat stacks of currency. Piles upon piles. A second officer unsealed the next. Additional cash. The final bag held something far graver. Multiple files filled with fabricated receipts and transaction logs. Every page bore my company's logo prominently. Daniel scanned the papers, then turned to me. Marcus, he murmured. They were preparing to cast you as the scapegoat in a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme. I gazed at the bags, struggling to absorb the sight. That cash doesn't belong to me, I stated, my voice oddly remote. I know, Daniel replied evenly. One officer escorted the basement intruder into view. Close up, he matched the glimpse I'd caught, serene, self-possessed, nearly unruffled. Far from the demeanor of someone recently apprehended in a stranger's residence. Daniel regarded him briefly. Ryan Keller, he stated. Money transport specialist. Affiliated with a laundering syndicate we've pursued for almost 12 months. The man lifted his shoulders slightly. Took you long enough, he remarked casually. My head whipped toward Daniel. You were aware of him? Daniel inclined his head. 4 weeks. Confusion morphed into fury. Then why keep me in the dark? Daniel held my eyes. Because we required them to assume the plan was succeeding. My chest constricted further. So you turned my home into a trap? Before Daniel could reply, Keller let out a soft laugh. You're focusing on the wrong issue, he commented. I glared fiercely. Then what should I be focusing on? Keller's lips curved faintly. You ought to ask. Who from your own company assisted us in game? Lingered like venom. An insider from my own firm. For a moment, coherent thought escaped me. That can't be true, I said reflexively. Only 3 individuals possess access to the premises and records. Daniel remained quiet. He observed my expression intently. Which 3? He prompted softly. I swallowed hard. My office administrator Susan. My bookkeeper Rick. And my warehouse foreman Tom. Keller nodded gradually. Tom Alvarez, he confirmed. The name struck like a blow. Tom had been with me nearly 8 years. He'd assisted in expanding the operation from a small rented space to a full warehouse setup. I relied on him completely. Stock management, shipments, even the alarm system codes. You're fabricating this, I declared. But Daniel was already retrieving something on his device. He angled the screen my way. Surveillance clip. The exterior camera at my home. Timestamp, 1:42 a.m. On the footage, Tom's pickup eased into my driveway. 60 seconds later, he exited, hauling the identical black bags now exposed in my basement. My insides churned. Daniel met my gaze. We took him into custody an hour earlier. I stared at the recording, incredulity gradually hardening into something frigid. But Marcus, Daniel continued quietly, that wasn't the most devastating revelation. I lifted my eyes to him slowly. If that wasn't the worst of it, then what was? Daniel paused briefly, the careful hesitation detectives employ before delivering harsh facts. Tom didn't target you by chance, he explained. My gut twisted tighter. What are you implying? Daniel glanced toward Keller, who lounged nonchalantly against the wall, wrists restrained behind him. Keller offered a faint grin. You truly don't recall, do you? He said. Recall what? I retorted sharply. Daniel breathed out steadily. 3 years back, he continued, your firm underbid another bidder on that state warehouse upgrade contract. The recollection flooded back instantly. Yes, I acknowledged. We secured it by roughly $50,000. Daniel dipped his head. The losing bidder was discreetly controlled by a front entity. He stopped. And that front entity tied directly to the laundering organization we've been chasing. A chill settled in my ribs. You're saying this entire ordeal stems from a single contract bid? Keller laughed under his breath. You deprived the wrong individuals of significant profits, Marcus. Daniel rested a hand on my shoulder. But you made one crucial choice. Which? You heeded your instincts when things felt off. Later that evening, once law enforcement departed and silence reclaimed the house, I secured the basement entrance once more. And I understood a truth that remains vivid to this day. Sometimes the thin barrier separating a normal existence from total ruin is nothing more than one phone call at 3 in the morning.
Craving shocking revenge, chilling horror, and jaw-dropping relationship drama. If you love revenge, horror, and jaw-dropping relationship stories straight from Reddit, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Reddit Tales Time, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. More twists, more drama, more tales, coming up next.